In Dead Space, the original one, not the remake, we will play as Isaac Clarke, a space engineer who joins Kendra Daniels, a computer specialist, Zach Hammond, the chief security officer, and two other guys on a mission to fix a mining vessel that has been having issues with their comms called the USG Ishimura. But Isaac isn't here just for work, since he is also looking for a woman that is stationed on the ship and who sent him a concerning message before it went dark. At first, everything looks to be going according to plan. They enter the IG system, they locate the USG Ishimura, and they try to make contact with them. But there's something wrong. So they try to dock inside. All of them seem okay, so they go to look for someone. However, it doesn't take them long to realize that there's no one around. Because of this, Kendra and Hammond have a little discussion, and Isaac is ordered to look at the console so they can find out what's going on. And yeah, turns out that the Ishimura isn't in the best of conditions and might need a lot of repairs. But out of nowhere, the place gets quarantined and something starts killing the crew one by one. Luckily, Kendra and Hammond are able to escape from there, and Isaac obviously starts running for his life. This takes him to a room where he comes across a bloody text that reads "Cut off their limbs," and on the table he finds a plasma cutter. So Isaac then arrives at a room where he sees Kendra and Hammond having another little discussion about what to do next, and the conclusion is that they must repair the tram system. So Hammond tells Isaac that if he helps him get to the bridge, he is going to help him find the girl from the video, whose name is Nicole. So he goes to do some fixing, but not before being told by Hammond to aim for the limbs.
Go for the limbs.
And then by the nice lady of the intercom. And then by a guy from a recording.
You gotta cut off the limbs.
Okay. Isaac then fixes the tram system, so Hammond and Kendra go to the bridge to see what's going on, while Isaac goes back to their ship to see if he can fix it. But this makes tensions between the crew rise up, with Hammond trying to find a solution, while Kendra acts dramatic as heck, saying that
changes everything.
And Isaac, as a very stoic Sigma male, it just vibes with it. They conclude that they need to access the command computer, so they need to find Captain Benjamin Matthews' rig, which is in the morgue. Because he's dead. And since Kendra and Hammond get attacked and have to run away, Isaac doesn't have any other option than to go to the medical wing and look for his corpse. But it starts getting real, son. Because just moments after exiting the tram, he encounters a woman who doesn't seem that lucid, a bunch of corpses everywhere, and a lot of blood on the walls and floors. Oh, and according to Hammond, Kendra is gone. And since the path to the morgue is blocked by some rubble, Isaac needs to find a way to clear it out. So during this exploration, Isaac comes across a video where a man who seems to be the captain is talking to a doctor named Terrence Kine about how the colony events are God's work, and how the marker is divine, and how they are going to bring it up to the ship, and how it could change everything. Both of them seem to be part of a religion, a sect, cult, called the Unitology. Although the doctor seems to be less devoted and more cautious about the whole ordeal. I mean, yeah, he has a secret room filled with strange papers and a log where he talks about how a marker has been discovered by the colony, how it's the first to be found in the history of the cult, and how he is eager to study it. And he also goes on a rambling about how the marker has the potential to advance humanity. But you know, cult people, they're crazy. Apart from this, Isaac also finds a log where a man is talking nonsense about how the miners of the colony started going through a glorious and breathtaking transformation, and how he wants to use a colonist named Harris, who seems to have lost his mind, as a guinea pig to do some research on the matter, even though he really wants to join them on this ascension. And there's another one of this same weird-ass man, where he tries to convince Dr. Kine that he must disobey the captain's orders of putting the colony under quarantine and embrace it. Although the doctor isn't as eager as he is. Isaac then finds all the materials he needs and is able to open a path to the morgue. Weirdly enough, here he comes across a video from Nicole, who seems to be a bit overwhelmed and is requesting aid to deal with all the wounded people. And even though it doesn't have a date, this could mean that she might still be around somewhere, right? So he continues ahead, and after hearing some growling, coming across more crazy people, and finding even more logs that talk about the colony, the problems going on there, and how this might be related to the discovery of the marker, Isaac finally finds the captain's corpse. Once he grabs the rig, Hammond is able to access the captain's records, where he discovers that the thing they are dealing with is an alien form. And it came from the planet when they cracked it open, and it spread from the colony to the ship. Oh, and he also tells Isaac that he locked one of the creatures inside an escape pod. But since the ship is still having issues, and there's still the possibility that Nicole might be around somewhere, Isaac continues with his fixing tour. This takes him to the engineering deck, where Hammond gives him a list of issues that need fixing. First, there's no fuel. Second, the ship needs to be stabilized. And third, the engine isn't working. So... After refueling the ship, hearing some growling coming from somewhere, fixing the gravity centrifuge which stabilizes the ship, and surviving the attack of some odd tentacle, Isaac heads to his last stop, the engine. But on his way, Kendra contacts him and tells him that Hammond left her to her luck after she was attacked, so she barricaded herself inside the computer core, and now she can log into everything. Thanks to this, Isaac learns that the colonists went crazy even before they started with the planet cracking. Isaac then comes across some staff members and a fleshy growth that, according to a log, has been spreading around the ship. And he also finds a bunch of logs that seem to be from an engineer named Jacob Temple, who describes how everyone on the ship started going crazy, how he's struggling to keep his crew alive since someone seems to be actively sabotaging the ship and it's probably one of those stupid Unitologists, and how he is going to go look for a girl named Elizabeth. After this, Isaac reaches the engine where he survives a horde of necromorphs and is able to reactivate it. But there's a new problem. The asteroid defense system isn't working, and unless they want to die, Isaac needs to fix it ASAP.
Isaac, where are you? It's me, Nicole.
Moments after arriving at the bridge, Isaac is able to witness another heated argument between Kendra and Hammond, where Kendra is like, "Oh my god, Hammond, you knew about the marker!" And Hammond is like, No, I didn't. I only know that they brought it up from the planet and left it in the cargo bay and it's from alien origin. I swear!" They calm down and Hammond tells Isaac to meet him at the captain's nest. Although on his way, Isaac comes across some glitched screens and a creature trying to reach him from another room. Here, a jumpy Hammond tells Isaac that in order to activate the ADS, he needs to go to the other levels and reroute the power. And he also swears to him that he doesn't know anything about the events that are unfolding. But remember the necromorph Hammond had locked inside an escape pod? Well, it wakes up and tries to attack Isaac while he exits the room. So Hammond launches it into space. Oh well, it's not like this could start a series of unfortunate events, right? Isaac then has to fight a giant necromorph. Oh, and he is also able to watch as the screens turn into a broadcast of Nicole, who asks him directly to make them whole again. He continues with his quest of fixing the ADS, and during this, he finds a log where Dr. Kine and the captain are having an argument about how he is fit for duty, while he tells the doctor that the marker needs to be delivered to the church. And it ends just after the doctor stabs him in the eye by accident. Isaac also finds another log from Temple, who seems to be heading to the hydroponics deck since he wasn't able to find Elizabeth here. And thanks to Kendra, he also learns that necromorphs are a biorecombination of dead tissue and that the flesh plastered all over the walls is some kind of habitat changer. Isaac then finishes rerouting the power, but the auto-targeting is down. So... Phew! Finally, the ship is no longer in danger from the outside, because it turns out that something in hydroponics is poisoning the air. And while Hammond tries to slow it down, Isaac has to go back to the medical deck and create a compound capable of stopping it. But the place seems different. Lights are off, corpses are gone, and there's a weird transmission coming from the monitors. Here, Isaac is able to hear the whispers of someone telling him how he can't stand in the way of God's plan, and Kendra tells him that someone seems to have locked all the doors, except for one. So, Kendra then explains Isaac that he needs to look for some chemicals and a DNA sample of the alien tissue to mix them with. And while looking for that, he finds a log from a man named Dr. Callus Mercer, who states that he has finally found a live subject to try his tissue regeneration theory with, and who sounds exactly like the Whisperer and the crazy man from past logs. Isaac then enters a room that has 2 test tubes, and here he is able to get the chemicals he needs. But before leaving, from the other side of the room comes a man that sounds exactly like the guy from the logs, who starts talking nonsense about how his fight for survival is admirable but pointless, and how he almost thinks human, and how he is the only species to get The point is that this guy wakes up one of the creatures inside a test tube, but this one is not like the others. It's not dying.
You can't kill it, Isaac!
I know, Kendra, shut up! Thank God, Isaac survives this encounter and continues in search of the DNA sample. And on his way, Hammond contacts them and tells them that hydroponics isn't in a very good shape and that the organic stuff is everywhere. So Isaac needs to hurry. And after another encounter with the man who keeps saying deranged stuff, another fight against the moral being, and a sighting of a woman who doesn't seem to be all there, Isaac reaches Dr. Mercer's office. And holy moly, is that symbol? Here, Isaac learns that Dr. Mercer was preparing to release his experiment to the wild, and that Dr. Kine was studying the marker, although it seems like he was suffering from the same dementia the colonists had, since he started talking with his wife Amelia, who has been dead for years. Oh, and he also finds the DNA sample here. But god damn it, the crazy guy cuts the oxygen supply. Isaac then restores it and heads back to the room where he first encountered him to do the mixing. And on his way there, Kendra tells him that the thing causing the issues in hydroponics is a massive creature that entered the deck from outside and that a survivor called the Leviathan. But Kendra shouldn't worry, because Isaac mixes the compounds and is ready to go and deal with it. But oh my god, this guy again! He tells Isaac that he admires his spirit, but that he shouldn't reject the hive mind's offerings, and that he should witness the plan. A plan that involves taking the necromorphs back to Earth and spread, according to him, their divine glory across the planet.
Not on my watch, brother.
Isaac then arrives at the hydroponics deck, where he immediately finds a log from a woman named Elizabeth Cross, who seems to be happy about the fact that they have a surplus of food, but sad about the fact that they can't give any to the colony, since the captain isn't letting anyone fly there. Here he also comes across Hammond, who seems to be doing not that good, and who tells Isaac that he needs to stop all the creatures that are poisoning the air. So... While doing this, he finds more logs from Elizabeth that talk about how she's trying to locate Jacob Temple and how she's going to the mining deck. And coincidentally, Isaac also finds a log from Jacob Temple who is like, "Oh, Elizabeth, where are you?" The point is that Temple is also heading to the mining deck because he wasn't able to find Elizabeth here. And after cleaning all the levels, hearing Kendra complain about how she doesn't trust Hammond at all and how she's starting to have hallucinations like the ones described on the logs, and receiving a call from Nicole asking him for help, and watching a transmission from her asking him to make the model again, Isaac is able to reactivate the air recycling system, which allows him to reach the so-called Leviathan. Or, well, a part of it. But the mix doesn't work, which means only one thing. Thank God, Isaac defeats it, so the air isn't a problem anymore. And hey, although Hammond has disappeared, Kendra has found an SOS beacon in the mining deck that they can use to request some help. Here, Kendra tells him the plan, which goes something like this. First, find the beacon. Second, attach it to an asteroid that is around it. Third, launch it into space. And fourth, pray that someone hears the broadcast. It sounds easy enough, but all of these steps involve access to locked floors, which means that Isaac has to find a key around the processing floor first. So he calls the elevator, which has a dying man and a bunch of necromorphs inside, and heads to that floor. Here, he finds a log from Temple, who apparently was able to find Elizabeth. But there's no vessel they can use to escape, and coincidentally, they were also trying to find a beacon, just like Isaac. Isaac then finds the key, and after Kendra lets him know that apparently the colonists' dementia started when they removed the marker from the planet, he starts looking for the beacon. Of course, this makes him find another log that seems to be the audio recording of a fight between some people and Dr. Kine, who is telling everyone that he needs the codes for the cargo bay so he can get the marker and stop whatever is happening. Although the people seem to think he has lost his mind and is talking nonsense. Also, during this quest, Isaac comes face to face with Nicole. But since there's a big gap between them, they can't reach each other. So she helps him unlock the door to the room where the beacon is, and before leaving, she tells him that she loves him and that all of this will be over soon. Oh wait, wrong mood. And that all of this will be over soon. With the beacon at hand, Isaac then heads toward the asteroid is being processed, while Kendra tells him that she lost his signal for a while and that Hammond is still nowhere to be found, which means that he's probably very dead. And on his way, he finds a log from a man that dismembered himself so he wouldn't become one of the creatures. Really interesting stuff. Isaac then plants the beacon, destroys the tethers holding the asteroid, and releases it with the hope that someone, anyone, is able to rescue them. But goddammit, it seems like the array receiver isn't working, which means that they cannot know if someone actually found their SOS signal. So Isaac needs to go and fix it. Thankfully, after Isaac arrives at the bridge, Kendra tells him that a military ship named the USM Valor has intercepted their signal, which is good, but they can't establish contact with them, which is bad. So Isaac tries to locate the issue as fast as he can, and during this, he comes across a man who's crawling for his life before dying from his wounds, and from behind him emerges a creature so horrifying, which emits a noise that can only be described as eldritch. After learning that Captain Matthews forbade the crew from issuing any distress calls and that the Ishimura was operating inside a prohibited system, Isaac fixes the dishes and activates the communication array. And with this, they are able to receive the broadcast coming from the USM Valor. But remember the escape pod Hammond launched for some reason? Well, they picked it up. Kendra, of course, tries to warn them about the thing inside it, although the signal isn't strong enough to reach them because something is blocking it. And oh my god! Isaac, obviously, is able to get rid of it. So Kendra tries to make contact with the ship again as fast as possible. But she is too late. Kendra gets sad, and Isaac up too? Which makes them unaware that something is coming towards them. Isaac then wakes up to the transmission from Nicole playing, which gets interrupted when Hammond tries to contact him. Apparently, someone has been blocking his rig signal, and he has finally decided to call quits on the mission. Thankfully, he has also located a shuttle on the crew deck that they can use to escape. But there's one little problem. The shuttle needs a singularity core. Fortunately for them, they can salvage one from the USM Valor. Once Isaac arrives at the storage deck, Hammond, who seems to have already made it inside the crashed ship, tells him that he has discovered something really interesting. The USM Valor wasn't there by accident. They were there, ready for war. Isaac then reaches the crash site and starts looking for the singularity core, where he comes across the open escape pod, fights some enhanced necromorphs, and gets distracted for a moment when one of the screens of the ship shows another transmission from Nicole, who's asking him to make whole. During this, Isaac also gets contacted by Dr. Terrence Kine, who tries to convince him that instead of leaving, they should use the shuttle to return the marker to the colony, unless they want to condemn all humanity. Oh, and that the church is wrong. Isaac then comes across some survivors, finds a log that talks about how the government suspects that the USG Shimura has recovered the so-called Marker 3A, which means that they might need to do a deep cleanse, and has a great time at the shooting range, until he finds the Singularity Core, which he grabs. Isaac then tries to exit the place, and oh look, it's Hammond. He's okay. No! Hammond! Isaac, with the Singularity Core at hand, arrives at the crew deck. But something seems off. And this isn't even the worst part, because it turns out that the shuttle doesn't have any navigation cards, and without them, it won't work. So Isaac needs to look for them. During this exploration, he comes across an article about the Church of Unitology, which explains that the marker was discovered by a professor of anthropology named Michael Altman, who, according to the church, was silenced by the government since the artifact he found was proof of alien life and it contained the key to immortality. It also talks about how the church has a tier system, how there's powerful people like CEOs and politicians amongst their ranks, and how one of the requirements is that every member has to donate their corpse to them. Nobody knows why, but you know. Oh, and according to this article, there's rumors that they are funding a secret shipbuilding program. Around here, Isaac also reaches a room that could take him to the shuttle, but it's locked, since Dr. Kane, who seems to be inside, won't let Isaac in unless he has all the navigation cards. So, Isaac continues with his quest, and this takes him to a room where he watches as Dr. Mercer tells a man how there's no transformation. Wait a minute! Did he just call her Dr. Cross and him Mr. Temple? Faces, turn our races. But hey, at least he finds a crew key here. So, after playing zero gravity basketball, watching a video of Dr. Mercer being a freaking Unitology zealot, seeing a woman kill herself, and coming face to face with immortal creature once again, because Dr. Mercer is a son of a bitch who freed him from the ice, Isaac finally collects all the navigation cards. So, Dr. Khan lets him in, and here he shows Isaac the video feed from the colony. And holy moly, that thing is what Dr. Mercer called the hive mind. And according to Dr. Kine, it's the thing controlling all the necromers, and the only way to stop it is by returning the marker to where it belongs. So, Isaac, with this in mind, goes to fix the shot. And on his way there, he comes across some logs that talk about how a guy has found out that a lot of the crew are Unitologists and how the church sent them there to retrieve the marker that the colonists found and return home with it. He then reaches the shuttle and is able to activate the spacecraft.
Hello there.
After finally killing the son of Dr. Mercer, Isaac helps Dr. Kane with the shuttle while he tells him that this will make them whole again. And since Dr. Kane told Isaac to meet him at the flight deck, he heads back to the tram. But on his way, Dr. Mercer appears again and starts telling Isaac more stupid cult stuff like, your time has gone, there's no need to be time. The point is that he tells Isaac that he should join him on his transformation, on his path to gaze upon the face of God, because it's going to be glorious. And oh my god, he was right. It's so glorious. So gloriously stupid. Once in the flight deck, Isaac has to go and retrieve the marker from the cargo bay. And then, after Kendra tells him that she is going to try and catch up to them, he has to load up the marker into the shuttle.
Me la paso pensando en chamba. Alguien por ahí que me dé chamba, yo.
Phew! Finally, the nightmare is almost coming to an end. But turns out, Kendra was an undercover agent that knew about the marker all along, and according to her, this is just a copy made by the government of the real one that they found back on Earth, and it was left in the planet because after they experimented with it for a bit, they saw what it did. So they decided to bury everything and declared the place out of limits. But then the Shimura came and, well... The worst part is that Dr. Kane was right. The marker has the power to stop the hive mind. But Kendra just wants to leave that forsaken place. And while Isaac watches her fly away, he gets contacted out of nowhere by Nicole, who tells him to go to the control room and help them. And here he finally comes face to face with his loved one. Yeah, there's something weird going on with the screens, but it doesn't matter. They are together now. She is sorry about what happened, and she wants him to make them whole again. Wait, what? Luckily for Isaac, there's a way to recall the shadow. So, he does. And Kendra is like, this isn't over. Well, Nicole is like, she can escape her fate. None of us can. Okay. Now, the only thing left to do is to return the marker to its rightful place. And wow, it seems like Nicole is some kind of marker expert, because she tells Isaac that he needs to take it to its pedestal and replace what was taken. Because of this, Isaac starts exploring the place, and after finding a log from a colonist trying to warn outsiders that they shouldn't land, restoring the power of the place, and losing Nicole once again, he starts moving the marker throughout the place, which seems to have fallen to the necromorphic infestation too. So... Thank God, Isaac is able to make it to the marker's pedestal, where he places the marker and it does something. Nicole then comes from behind it and tells Isaac that they are whole again. And after she disappears, Isaac is able to see that the piece of the planet that was hovering above is now free falling. So, obviously, he tries to get out of there. But while being decontaminated, Kendra appears before him. And while taking the marker away, she tells Isaac that he is just as insane as Dr. Kine and Captain Matthews, because turns out that Nicole has been dead this whole time. All of her sightings, all of Isaac's interactions with her, they were just the marker manipulating him to do its bidding, because it knew Isaac would have done everything for the love of his life. Kendra then runs away, and Isaac heads back to the shadow. And he arrives just in time to see how Kendra, while trying to steal his ship, gets tossed around like a doll and dies. Thank you, Mr. Tentacle. Oh my god! Isaac, after defeating this eldritch abomination, runs for his life and gets out of there just in time. At last. No more marker. No more necromorphs. No more Nicole. The nightmare is finally over. Wait. This time there might not be different endings, but there's secret logs that explain a little bit more of the story, like the one about the background checks that were performed on the group before the mission began. Obviously, there's not much about Kendra, because, you know, infiltrated government agent. But there's a lot about Isaac. For starters, he really is a great engineer who was in a relationship with Nicole Brennan until she got promoted and left him to pursue her career. And, well, we know how that ended. Also, it turns out that his mother is part of the Church of Unitology, and she became a member after Isaac's dad never came back from a tour, and who, interestingly enough, is an award-winning ship architect, whose records are deemed classified. There's also the one that talks more in depth about the Church of Unitology. Thanks to this, we learned that the church began after Michael Altman started doing public conferences about the so-called Black Marker, which people began seeing as the Holy Grail since no one knew what was its purpose. Also, in this log is explained that the church is storing all detonated corpses inside big compounds around major settlements. And remember the rumors about the big ships? Well, they are real, and the church has them filled with stasis tubes that are ready to be loaded with bodies for deep space transport, although the purpose of this is still unknown. The last log seems to be coming from when the government was experimenting with the copy of the Black Marker, which they call the Red Marker, because, well, it's red. This one talks about how at some point Michael Altman was part of this project, although he was kicked out for some reason, and he seemed to be trying to hide information regarding the black marker. Also, according to this log, once the red marker is activated, it emits frequencies that affect dead tissue and recombines it, although it also creates a dead space around it, which stops this effect. And remember the platform? Well, that thing was created by the scientists after one of them had a vision about it, and its purpose? To broaden the signal of the marker. Remember that if you enjoyed this video and you don't want to miss any new uploads, you can leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and as always, see you in the next one. Bye bye.